A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris.
This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. इस पोएम में पोएट परहैप्स पिंजरे में कैद एक टाइगर को देखकर यह सोच रहे हैं कि अगर यही टाइगर जंगलों में आज़ाद घूम रहा होता तब उसकी एक्टिविटीज़ क्या होती। फिलहाल जो टाइगर पिंजरे में कैद है वह सिर्फ पिंजरे के लिमिटेड एरिया में इधर से उधर चल रहा है। टाइगर बहुत ही शांत है, लेकिन पोएट को पता है कि अंदर ही अंदर टाइगर के मन में ढेरों गुस्सा भरा हुआ है, लेकिन वह चुप है क्योंकि वह खुद को बहुत ही हेल्पलेस और असहाय महसूस करता है। लेकिन कैसा होता अगर यह पिंजरे वाला टाइगर जंगलों में आज़ाद होता। पोएट को पता है कि यह टाइगर जो फिलहाल पिंजरे में बहुत ही शांत पड़ा है, अगर यही टाइगर जंगल में होता तो वह छुपकर किसी पेड़ के नीचे या लंबे घास के पीछे रहकर अपने शिकार का इंतजार कर रहा होता। या फिर यह भी पॉसिबल है कि टाइगर किसी ऐसे जगह पर जाकर अपने शिकार का इंतजार कर रहा होता जहां जानवर बहुत भारी मात्रा में आते हैं, जैसे कि किसी वाटर बॉडी के पास। वाटर बॉडी के पास भी टाइगर घात लगाए बैठकर प्यासे जानवरों का इंतजार करता और जैसे ही जानवर आते वह उन पर झपट्टा मारकर उन्हें अपना शिकार बना लेता। शिकार की तलाश में यह टाइगर्स कभी कभी जंगलों की सीमा लांघकर आसपास के सटे हुए गांव में भी चले आते हैं, लेकिन गांव में आने के बावजूद टाइगर्स को डरने की तो बिल्कुल ज़रूरत नहीं है, बल्कि उल्टे उनकी दहाड़ को सुनकर, उनके लंबे दांत को देखकर और टाइगर के इस खूंखार रूप को देखकर मानव खुद भी डर जाता है। लेकिन अफसोस, जब ऐसे खूंखार और शक्तिशाली जानवरों को हम पिंजरे में कैद कर देते हैं, तब इन्हें भी पता होता है कि अब यह कुछ नहीं कर सकते। ऐसे में पिंजरे में कैद जानवर इंसानों को अपने सामने देखकर भी इग्नोर करता है, क्योंकि उसे पता है कि अब जब वह पिंजरे में कैद है तो कोई भी उससे डरने वाला नहीं है। उदास टाइगर कई बार अक्सर रातों में जगा रहता है।
यह हताश और उदास टाइगर अक्सर रात के अंधेरे में आसमान की ओर नजरें करके चमकते सितारों को देखता है। अंधेरे में टाइगर की खुद की आंखें भी चमक रही होती हैं, लेकिन ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है कि उसकी आंखें खुशी या एक्साइटमेंट के वजह से चमक रही हों। दरअसल रात के अंधेरे में कुछ जानवरों की आंखें नेचुरली चमकती हैं। He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. He, that is the tiger, is stalking, that is walking with long steps within the confined area of his cage. No noise is heard as the tiger walks on his soft velvety paws, but deep inside the tiger is very angry. However, despite being full of rage, that is full of anger, the tiger is not growling because the tiger knows that he is in a cage. The poem begins with the description of the beauty and grandeur of this majestic animal, that is the tiger, which is now put in a cage. The poet can clearly observe the anger and helplessness of this tiger, which is walking up and down the length of the cage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. The poet now tries to imagine as to what would have been the life of tiger had it not been confined in the cage. The tiger might be moving stealthily and secretly among long grasses, or might be hiding in dark places or under shades of trees in order to catch its prey. Or the tiger might be waiting near a water body in order to hunt down those animals which come over there to drink water.
He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. The poet is well aware of the fact that the activities of a tiger are not just limited to a forest. It is quite possible that while looking for its prey, a tiger might come out of the forest and reach the threshold of a village. Even the presence of a human being cannot deter the strength and spirit of a tiger, which can very easily terrorize everyone and everybody around it. The tiger's growl, its big white teeth, its claws are just enough to make the people scared of this ferocious and deadly wild animal. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. The poet now comes back to reality, where the tiger who is inside the cage is completely helpless despite the tremendous strength it has. This cage, which is made up of cement and bricks, has locked up all the strength of the tiger behind its bars. Within his confinement, all that the tiger can do is just to move up and down the length of the cage and to ignore the visitors. The tiger is well aware of its tremendous power and strength, yet it chooses to ignore the visitors because the tiger knows that people are not afraid of caged animals and that the tiger can hardly do anything as long as he is inside the cage. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. The tiger in the zoo is so sad and lonely, he is not able to sleep. He stays up late night listening to the sound made by patrolling cars. The lonely tiger now looks up at the night sky. And in the darkness, there are only two things that shine very brightly, which are the brilliantly shining stars of the night sky and the sparkling shining brilliant eyes of the caged tiger. However, the shine and the brilliancy of the tiger's eyes are not because of the excitement or joy contained in the tiger's heart. Rather, its eyes are shining because it is natural that eyes of few animals shine at night time, like the eyes of cats or dogs. Literary devices used in the poem. The first literary device used in the poem is personification. In this poem, the tiger itself has been personified as a human being. Just like human beings, the tiger in the zoo can also feel. Sometimes the tiger feels angry, sometimes the tiger feels helpless. Do keep in mind that the personification of tiger is continued throughout the poem. Throughout the poem, the tiger is being referred as he. Next is metaphor. In line number 3, you can see the paws of the tiger have been compared to velvet. Metaphor is that figure of speech where two things are compared to each other without using the words like or as. The last figure of speech in stanza 1 is oxymoron, that is, two opposite ideas together. Look for the oxymoron in the fourth line of stanza 1. The two oppositely meaning words quiet, rage have been put side by side. The word quiet, as we all know, means peaceful, and the word rage means anger. So, peaceful anger, this is oxymoron. The second stanza has only one figure of speech, which you will find in the fourth line, and the figure of speech is alliteration. Alliteration is that figure of speech where consonant sounds are repeated. As you can see over here, the sound P is repeated in the fourth line of second stanza in the words plump and pass. Again, in the third stanza, we can see that the same literary device, that is personification, is being continued as it is in the whole poem. We come across another example of alliteration in the fourth stanza, second line.
Look for the repetition of the sound B in the second line of the fourth stanza in the words behind bars. The last stanza has yet another example of alliteration. See that the sound H is being repeated in the words he and hers in the very first line of the last stanza. The last figure of speech or literary device used in this poem is irony, which is brought about by brilliant eyes. Irony is that figure of speech where there is contrast between what is said and what is meant. We all know that a person's eyes shine and sparkle when the person is either very happy or very excited. But when the poet says that the eyes of the tiger are brilliant, that is, the eyes of the tiger are shining, it is not shining out of joy or excitement. Rather, it is only a natural phenomena for eyes of some animal to shine during the night time. So the irony is that even though the tiger is quite sad, helpless, and angry, yet its eyes are shining.